Welcome, everybody, to Inside the Booth. I'm your host, Dan Arena, and we have over here Matthew Peterson, and
Hello.
next to him, Dreaming Tabitha.
That's me.
Or we can, since she's part of the team, we can just call her Tabitha.
I didn't give you that permission, but all right, whatever.
Hey.
What about Tabby?
I'm Batman. No.
You're not
No.
Batman. We know that.
No Tabby.
No Tabby.
Tabby, huh?
No.
That sounds weird. Okay, anyways, welcome everybody for watching.
Welcome everyone.
We got R2 online saying hello, howdy, hey. And then we got Kayla D saying hey.
Oh, Kaylee.
And then we
yeah.
got,
Hello, everyone.
and then Jared came on. Hello, how are you doing? And then hey, yeah. So before we get started, don't forget, Inside the Booth has merchandising. Where all the real money of this TV show is made. InsideTheBoothTV.com. Go get yourself this is a neck gaiter, but you can wear it as a beanie or a do-rag. That's always fun. And then you can also get yourself a nice mug and some koozies. And that's all I have to show you for now. Oh, wait, I am wearing one of our shirts today.
Oh.
And this is the 5 category shirt, which we will be doing tonight. 5 categories of the movie 3 Amigos. Who has seen this movie? Who likes this movie? And as we go along, you can tell us what you think about this movie. We hope everybody liked it anyways. I know I did. Did you guys like it?
I'm not saying,
Well,
not
we'll get
yet.
into it.
Spoiler.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, and don't forget, we will be having spoilers. So if you haven't seen this movie and you don't want it to be spoiled, I guess you can not turn us off and suck it up. Because we need you to watch.
Just turn the volume down, that's all.
There you go. R2 says he's seen it. Do you have real gators? No, I do not live in Florida anymore. I'm sorry. I'm back in upstate New York. My brother has real gators. He lives in Florida still. And that's it. I've seen many times and still laugh at it this day. Yes.
Dusty dies.
Dusty dies at the end.
That
okay,
was in
so
the sequel.
here's a challenge for everybody for maybe midway of the show. If you remember all 3 of their names, first and last, type it in the comment section. If you remember them. If you don't, I'll tell you later. But it's funny.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna get started with the plot, I guess. Tabitha, do you want to go first?
No.
Okay. I guess.
I was just about to suggest, hey, I went first last time. Dan, why don't you go first this time?
Oh, okay. Well, how about we do Matthew first this time? Since he's in the middle. Matthew, you go first.
I wasn't trying to be like mean or whatever. I just thought it was funny. It was like right on my tip of my tongue to say that as soon as you had asked me.
Right. All right, Matthew, go ahead. I got to deal with a child walking down the stairs.
So,
Hang on.
plot and summary. I kind of gave this the title, Fantasy Overlaps with Reality. So 3 washed-up actors go to Mexico, help out a woman who needs people to help bring peace to her village. But they are confused with 3 others. And from another village, they think the actors are the bad guys. They are brought to the village under the preconception that they will protect the village. But the film changes dramatically in a gun scene when they realize they are not in a film, but in reality against an evil man and his army. I felt like it should have been perhaps a bit more over the top in some of the scenes with all the 3 comedians for it to be like extra funny. The film characters never really they didn't really build the film characters that much around the three characters. I felt some of the scenes were a little bit rushed when describing their characters. And it also felt a little bit too serious toned than a comedy to me. I never watched this movie. This is the first time going into it, so I didn't grow up on this movie at all. So I'm watching it with totally different eyes than other people who've watched it if they grew up with the movie. So yeah, plot summary, it was okay, not the best.
Well, this is having just come off of all those Mel Brooks films, so it's like really going low key compared to those.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that's my bad. I'm sorry about that other one.
No, I'm just saying, I'm like overall, like regardless, it's just like, having watched all those films, you compare it to Three Amigos, and it's like you do kind of have to have a different mindset when you're watching it, because it is a different kind of comedy. Like it's not.
It is.
A Mel Brooks.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
There's 3 quotes that I found about this movie by Roger Ebert I thought was really good. This movie is too confident, too relaxed, too clever to be really funny. The ideas to make The Three Amigos into a good comedy are here, but the madness is missing. Everybody in The Three Amigos seems to think it's some kind of joke. So, and I kind of agree with those 3 things when I was watching it, when I looked that up.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So the plot summary, I mean, everything was there. It felt like it wasn't fleshed out enough when I was watching the film. It felt like it should have been more of a Western than a comedy. The only part that I actually laughed, that I just burst out laughing, was the scene where they stopped in the desert to have a drink, and everybody has a different scene. And she's just gouging and throwing the water away. That's actually the only scene I actually really laughed at. But other than that, I thought it was just a Western film. So, plot summary. I don't give any points.
Well, all right then. So no points for Matthew. All right. Well, for the plot, for me, you know what? This is one of my favorite comedies. Sorry, let me throw this up here. Sketchy guy says, "So like the wind." Yes, that was funny. I think it's and R2 throws up here. Yeah. I think it's a malplane. How can you tell? Didn't you see the little balls?
I had to interject some boy humor into there.
Yeah, a little bit. It was. I mean, that was kind of funny. And what was funny about that whole thing was that he was laughing about it hysterically, while the other two were like either Martin they kind of didn't get it, and and it was like, and he was laughing hysterically out of it. That was hilarious in my opinion. The plot, though, yes, it's these 3 guys that go out on a journey. They get kicked out of being in the cinema. They get told they got another show to do, and then it turns out to be that it's real, and they have to really either be real men or not be real men. And I think the plot was pretty good, especially how everything turned out. This comedy to me was probably one of my top favorite comedies. And yes, I know we just done a bunch of Mel Brooks movies, but I still, and because this is a different genre of comedy, you definitely have to have that, like Tabitha said, that different kind of mindset, because, yes, Mel Brooks is good. He's funny, but he's more, he has a little bit more crude humor. Mm-hmm. This movie was more like dry humor. Just like very, very almost English like, very dry,
unexpected,
very like,
random.
and random. Yeah, exactly. And I really like that about this movie, so I'm going to have to give it a point. Another favorite part of the movie for me was where it was Steve Martin. He's like, God, up here. Look at me.
And they're sitting just like 8 feet
Yeah, they're
below.
sitting right underneath him. And he's making these kind of bird sounds, but you can hear the words coming out.
And they're not getting it, so he just
Yeah,
keeps
and they're
like
just kind of
increasing the vocabulary of non-sounds.
And then he's like, "Hey guys!"
Right, and they're like,
Follow
"Well,
me." Oh, you're up there. That was really good. Anyways, all right, Tabitha, your turn for plot.
For plot, I think when you go into this film, it's not even really about the plot. It's just like you're just enjoying to see what happens next.
Right.
I guess again, like kind of like you, Dan, I've seen this film before, although it's been many a year. I think I may have been a teenager the last time I saw this film, so it's been a while. And so
That was only like 5 years ago, right?
no, no, but. So, so not knowing what it's like as an adult to watch this film, like Matthew going into it, I can't view it the same way. Because I remember, it's one of those nostalgic things. Like, I didn't remember a lot about the film, but I remembered that it was funny. So you kind of just go into it watching, knowing it's like, oh, I expect it to be funny, which I did. Right. I thought it was. So as far as the plot goes, yeah, I mean, you're in Mexico and the young gal, the beautiful young woman, Carmen, looking for help. And I just love the scene where they go into the church seeking help and there's a screen playing a movie.
Yeah. In the church.
Again,
yeah, that's
unexpected. Like, who's going to do that? And yeah, looking for these heroes. And I like the fact when they send the telegram and it's too many words. And so he just kind of summarizes it, which of course makes it confusing, which they think is a movie deal instead of an actual plea for help. So I like the storyline because, I mean, the story's pretty simple,
Mm-hmm. Very simple,
damsel or village in distress seeks help from heroes. Heroes attempt to save the day, but they're not actual heroes. And of course, and there's a bad guy, and in the end, the heroes save the day. Right. I mean, so pretty generic as far as plot goes, but it's just the little things that they insert there as far as whenever I guess we get to the humorous section. I don't know when that part we talk about the humorous sections, but there are so many in there for me personally. And like when Matthew brought up that one scene, that is really the only scene that I remember clearly from when I was watching it the first time.
Really?
Yeah, was the fact of Chevy Chase. So for those who may not know, it's in they're in the desert and they're trying to get to the place where the bad guy is. And I mean, of course, it's hot and they've got these huge outfits on, these heavy, loud outfits on. And Steve Martin character, he's got a canteen and he's bringing it to his lips and just a tiny trickle of water comes out. We move over to Martin Short and I did not expect when he tilted it and all this dust, literally all this sand falls into his mouth. And then you look at
and back
Chevy
then
Chase.
They didn't back then they didn't have those graphics where nowadays
I know, like I was impressed.
I'm not really gonna do it, but you can put the graphic in there. He took a mouthful and a nose full of sand. Like I was already impressed. And then they turn over to Chevy Chase's character and his canteen, it might as well have had a hose in it because it just didn't stop flowing with water. And to the point where he's just letting it run all over his face. And he takes a swig of it, starts swishing it in his mouth and spits it out. The other guys are staring at him with longing, and then he throws it on the ground and it's still gushing water. And then of course the cherry on top of all of that, then he brings out a little lip balm, circle there, and he's just like applying, and he's like, "Oh, do you need some lip balm?" Yeah, he's like, lip balm.
Like again, just kind of a random thing. It's just all three of them had something completely different. And so as far as plot goes, I say it's a good plot just because it's that basic simple plot. I'm not really watching it for the plot, I guess, necessarily. I mean, it helps obviously move the story along. I just like the story because it brings about the funny parts. So as far as plot goes, I mean,
yeah. So you give it a point?
Yes, I would give it a point.
Sweet. Sketchy Guy says remake the movie today. No, sketchy
No.
guy. It would not work out.
No. Number one, people are tired
movie would be
and
a
fed
minute.
up with remakes.
Yeah.
And then secondly, it's just not the same. It's not the same charisma. It's not the same actors. It's not the same style anymore for films like this, really.
Yeah. Comedy has gone way downhill. I think we talked about that last stream we had.
In our previous video.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Go watch it. It was fun. Jared says, "Don't forget the singing bush."
Oh yeah, there's so much in there. I've got
Singing bush
plenty of little
was
things that I
hilarious.
love that are hilarious in this film. Like it just.
New Hope Camper, not PC either.
Well, yeah, that was something else when I was watching it. I'm like, again, you think about today's standards, and I'm like, this movie is funny. Just one reason, because of the fact that the three heroes are these like middle-aged white guys, and they're dressed in like these ginormous sombreros with sequins on it, and I mean, they're wearing like what is it called? When the Mexican not dancers, I always want to say Comancheros, and that's not it. Mariachi band. They're basically wearing mariachi band clothes, and they're the heroes. And it's like these three white guys dressed in, if you will, culturally inappropriately for this Mexican film. I don't know if that would fly today. You know, it's
Yeah, probably wouldn't, but definitely is hilarious. All right, since now we're back on a new subject, acting. Matthew, what did you think?
I thought the acting was kind of fake. Like they didn't know if they should be serious or funny. Again, I didn't really think it was a comedy, but they were trying to make it a comedy. If they fleshed out the characters more, I think, in the beginning of each individual, I think it would have been a little better. But then I think it made me think that the writers were just kind of banking on the stars to be loopy and funny, and just their personality from SNL. But yeah, the campfire scene though, I liked. That scene was, of course, that scene was good for some character development.
Campfires,
with,
yes.
The singing I thought was
movie.
really cool in that scene. So that was pretty cool, and the animals singing. I'm like, okay, I could see this. Yeah. I could see this as a little bit of a comedy now, but it was just kind of going like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like for the flow of the film to me. Overall, acting, I would give a 0.
Oh man! All right, Tabitha, your turn.
My turn.
Yeah, you go next. Yep.
Okay. So for the reason, like you were saying, like it kind of had its ups and downs. Whereas, like, was it serious? Was it funny? I kind of liked that about the film because it does make it, different from these comedies. So I like the fact that there's a breakup in between the jokes, so that there is actually some time for the story development. Personally, just because that I'm not necessarily for all comedies where it's back-to-back jokes.
David says,
it's
hey, real quick, Campfires must be a man's movie.
It's right,
Manflix.
That's exactly right. But I like it when it's not a back-to-back ridiculous moment. Mm-hmm. And I like the fact that we're doing for acting. Like I just don't think that there's actors of this caliber really, or not even this caliber. It's more of just this style. Chevy Chase, right. Steve Martin, Martin Short. Like by today's standard, I can't think of maybe but 2 actors that could pull off a film like this. The fact that they were basically very serious in their role as a comedy, whereas, like, again, comparing into Mel Brooks films where they would make eye contact with the camera because they knew you were watching, whereas this was like them actually being in the moment. And I kind of liked that myself personally. Like, those are a little bit more my style of comedy choices. I can only think of maybe like Owen Wilson, who is this special kind of person. He's a very different kind of actor that could.
Yeah, but he's hardly in the movies anymore. So
I know. I'm not talking about his status or anything. I'm just saying, like, there's something about like Steve Martin and Chevy Chase and again Martin Short where It's just this different kind of acting style and the different kind of comedy that I just don't think that actors seem to have. Maybe it's because, like we had discussed the other day, where the entertainment industry has changed. But I mean, like, could you imagine, for example, like, you know, Chris Hemsworth, Hugh Jackman, and Robert Downey Jr. sharing a bed or riding on one horse together through the desert? Like, it's just, you have to have a special kind of set of actors who could pull that off and it not be awkward, but it be funny. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So as far as acting goes, I thought they lived up to the style that they tend to be in. You know, Chevy Chase, I thought it was funny because of his character was kind of the, he was on the more glamorous side of being a Hollywood actor. You know, he was asking if the beer was like, or the tequila or whatever like that, if it was low fat or whatever like that.
He was like, he goes, do you have beer? He goes, no beer. We only got the tequila.
He's like,
is it like beer? And he's like, yeah, it's kind of like beer.
You know, and then, you know, of course, with the lip balm, and there was other things that he was doing where it was like he was basically the pretty blonde of the group.
Right.
Right. You know,
and he didn't care about the journey either. He was just kind of, especially summoning the invisible swordsman. He was just like, and then he shoots off to the side.
I laughed so hard at
the invisible swordsman
just because of their words that they were supposed to speak. You know, it's like blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of wonder, I haven't done any research, but I kind of wonder if they just made up their words. I would not be surprised if they just you know, the director was like, just say whatever, you know?
Yeah, make something up, yeah.
So I would give it a point. I like the acting because I don't know, just they're a different kind of style that I personally enjoy.
Right. And for me, I think I would go with Tabitha on this one, just because it is Steve Martin Short, and Chevy Chase. I mean, you don't get those three guys in one movie. You know, I mean, it's hard to get three of the especially at that time, top-notch actors into one movie together. You know, it's hard to do that. And I know a few of them were at least one. No, one of them was in SNL, right? I don't think were the others in SNL. I don't remember.
Yep.
I didn't really keep up with this.
Oh, cool.
I don't remember because I remember Chevy Chase, but I don't remember Steve Martin or Martin Short being in it. But they could have been. Anyways, just the funniness that they brought together as a team, just because they kind of. They know each other well. They know each other's lines. Yeah, they had a good chemistry. You can tell
they worked good together.
Yeah,
I did not get that at all.
Oh, really?
No, not at all.
I think Matthew's just not used to that dry humor. I think.
No, I am. Oh, I am.
I don't know. I mean, I lived with dry humor my whole life, so I I kind of understand it a little bit. And I don't know. I just thought it was hilarious. All in a lot of the scenes that they're in, even though it is quite random, but I think that's basically the whole premise of the movie. It was just supposed to be kind of this random thing that was happening, you know. So I
things
just
that had nothing to do with the plot of the movie. They just decided to insert, like, when
exactly. Like
that girl asked, like, "Would you kiss me?" He's like, "Yeah." And he just keeps playing his guitar, and
right.
Awkward moment lapses, and he's like, "Oh, you mean now?"
Yeah.
And it had nothing to do with the scene. Like it
Exactly. Yeah, Martin Short is a brilliant guy, definitely. So it's I don't know. I'm gonna actually give it a point, but you know, I don't know how to convince Matthew that this type of acting was supposed to be this way in this movie. But you know,
I lost last time. You guys were all against, quote unquote, against me in our last one. So.
Well, I don't know. I think we were all kind of together and against each other. I don't know. Whatever. So yeah, you know, I mean, I really enjoy this movie, and it's like this is basically like a clean movie too. It's not like too dirty, you know. There wasn't really a lot of dirty stuff in there. No,
I think there was like one one or two swear words like sh, and then I think there was reference to male anatomy, but
Yeah.
you know, but not in like a suggestive way, more of a derogatory term. So,
Right.
But other than that, yeah, it's rated PG.
Well, you know, back in that in '86 is when it was made. I think. Yeah, I think everything was made PG back then.
Right. It was either R or PG. There was no in between.
That's right. There was no in between at that time. Not until 90. What was it? 91 or something like that, or 92? I don't remember. I have to look that up again. Matthew, do you know film history? You don't remember? Okay, I don't remember either. Anyways, moving on. We're cinematography. I really want to hear Matthew's thoughts on this one first.
So since they filmed in the desert, and filming in the desert is very, very tough, I thought they did a great job doing that. It looks what a film should be. And there was a shot where you actually saw the blue sky.
Gotta make it. Yes.
Where you actually saw the blue sky, and I was like, "Oh wow, well done within the desert." So this definitely gets a point.
Oh, okay, awesome. Is that all you wanted to say about it?
That's about it for cinematography goes. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. You want to go next, Tabitha, or do you want me to go next?
You can go. I'll let you take this one, Dan.
Okay. Before I go, let's hit up some comments. Ado says the bar scene was epic when they start singing My Little Buttercup. Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you cannot imagine Robert Downey Jr. or, like I said, or Chris Pratt, maybe Chris Pratt, you know, all of a sudden doing this nice little, you know, show tunes dance number. Right. It just wouldn't work. You would have to have somebody like Steve Martin to pull that off.
Right. My little buttercup has the sweetest smile. And what's funny is that they would point at the other guys across the bar, or at the guys in the, you know,
they thought they were the Germans.
Yeah. And then they were like, you know, that was hilarious. So yeah. Anyway, cinematography for me. I think, you know what? It is an older movie, but I think it's the cinematography holds up. Definitely, like Matthew said, looks the part. Definitely Dusty's got good costumes, got good shots. And there's some good epic shots in there, you know, especially with the plane. You know, the scene where the plane is going and everybody's like, ah, but even if it's a wide shot, you see them on the plane and you can see the plane and you see the horses, and that was definitely planned out well, in my opinion. So I would give the cinematography a point. Plus there's also the vibrancy of the real color. You know, back in the 80s, like nowadays, they like to do color grading. You know, they film it really orange, flat, or they film it, you know, it was grayish and flat. And it's like, man, why don't you just put the real color in there and just call it a day? But that's all right. But yes, I like that kind of style as well. All right, go ahead, Tabitha. Cinematography. Sorry.
I like that. Sorry. I like that kind of style
yes,
too.
Yes, David, watch the movie.
Just because, I mean, if it's going to be a Western, I don't want it to have that teal orange color grading. Like, you know, I want it to have that grittiness, that, you know, that Clint Eastwood, the John Wayne kind of, some of it a little bit washed out. Like it's almost in sepia tones, minus the sky. The sky is always that, you know, enhanced color of itself that contrasts with the landscape, contrasts with the clothing, by the way, which is also a nicety that they put in there. Like if you notice, like pretty much everybody's wearing kind of like drab clothing that kind of matches the landscape, because of course everything's covered in dirt and it's, you know, leather and whatever. And then you've got, bam, these guys in like black and white and brilliant red costumes. Like, of course they stand out immediately. They're at. And of course, that's just a brilliant choice. But you know, like when you're again, just because it's like it's a comedy Western, it's not a serious movie. However, they've got the color grading as far as the colors that are you know kind of neutral, they're muted, and that goes with that old Western scene. But then you've got these brilliant guys that are standing out against everything, so it takes it out of that traditional Western feel, and it's a good idea, you know, rather than making them try to blend in. Yeah, I thought it was good. I mean, a lot of the video shots were really good. I love the fact that, like you said, with the airplane, I was admiring the fact that, you know, nowadays we would CGI all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if
drones.
Drones. I don't know if it's
drones,
deemed laziness or if it's for safety of the actors. Everything's been taken up, you know, to new levels. So, but I mean, if you it cost. And so if you have, you know, people that are willing to do stuff like this, it really makes a difference to the film when you have real, you know, practical effects, kind of like, again, why people were saying what they did enjoy about like Mandalorian and the sequels, Star Wars films, because they brought in, you know, practical effects. And it makes it seem real, more believable, and personally for me, more enjoyable. I like knowing when I'm watching a film, not where everything's been green screened, you know, where it's obviously been green screened.
Yeah, the sets were actually great in this. I give that to it.
Yeah, I mean, the fact, again, like we were talking about different caliber of acting, I mean, Martin, what's his name? Steve Martin. Sorry, Steve Martin. Okay. It gets confusing. The fact, you know, when he was doing the lasso, he was doing the lasso work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it wasn't like that. Again, they didn't CGI that. They didn't throw in a stunt double or whatever like that. So, you know, that kind of going along with practical effects, I think really helps make a movie more enjoyable for me. But yeah, as far as cinematography, I thought it was a kind of like a typical kind of 80s film. It wasn't like it stood out above the rest. It was just, you know, it went its way and it was good, you know.
So it went somewhere.
Did you give that a point then? Yeah.
I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and say I like this film.
Okay. So we'll give that a point. All right. Now
you can also do half points too.
Okay. I'm sorry. I think I wasn't familiar with the scoring system. I give it a 4, you know.
We're not going that far.
0.75, you know.
My brother already made it into a half point, so I was like, okay, I guess we can do half points. I mean, you know, if you're wavering on if you like it or not, you know.
Okay, I'll keep it in mind.
All right, good. and then now we got the score, the music of the film. Tabitha, you go first on this one.
Okay. Again, kind of going back to what I'd said earlier about the fact that this film feels like it's trying to be more serious, and then the acting switches it up with the random jokes. And I think that the music helps with that vibe because it does have a lot of that, you know, orchestrated, you know, Texas Western, you know, gung-ho kind of feel, along with some of the more traditional you know, Mexicana kind of music. And I was pretty impressed with that. Just not necessarily, it wasn't like anything like John Williams or Howard Shore would necessarily do, but it was enough for me to notice it and be like, oh, this is pretty cool because of the fact that, you know, it feels like a Western, but it's a comedy.
Right.
You know,
so it also had like a campy sound to it once in a while.
Yeah. And then now if we're talking about, you know, the little dance number musics and, you know, when Chevy Chase is playing the guitar, I mean, well, you know, I mean, I can't say it's my favorite kind of music to listen to, but that scene when he first starts playing the guitar with all the ladies surrounding I laugh so hard because he has done that kind of sound. Yeah. It's not even singing. What is that? Like, it's just, and he just keeps carrying that off. And he just keeps, it's so serious, so calm.
Yeah.
And then he just strikes a chord on the guitar. And that's it. It wasn't even a song.
So, that's what makes it funny.
I
Oh,
don't want
man.
to necessarily say I give it a point because it wasn't something that I necessarily like. I guess I enjoyed that it helped the film, but it wasn't something that. But I don't want to not give it a point because I'm not against it. I guess I'll just give it the half point to play it safe. I think it helped the movie for the style it was going for, but it wasn't like it. Again, it wasn't like it was going to win an award or anything like that.
Gotcha. So would you give it a point or no?
I'll give it a half a point. I'm gonna
A half
throw
a
up my
point.
half point. That's right.
Today's your half point. Your first
Today.
half point of the show. Nice. Okay. We are halfway in between this show, and I think I did see up here a little bit of somebody telling us the names of the three guys. Just gotta find out. Right here, R2 says it, and R2, you win. I'm not gonna give you anything, but you win anyways. You win.
We give you love.
You win some love. He says Lucky Day, Dusty Bottoms, and Ned Niederlander.
I always say Ned
Yes.
Neanderthal because I just read it really quickly and I'm like, oh, that's not what it says.
The Ned Neanderthal.
Like, what a weird name.
It's
And
very
it's like
primitive. All right, so now
you win.
can you tell me which person was which? Which person was
up in the ante?
So that's for the end. So go ahead and think about that. Which person is which? Who played Lucky Day? Who played Dusty Bottoms? And who played Ned Niederlander? Go think about it. Well, you're still listening to us. All right, Matthew.
No multitasking, or well, we encourage that right now, actually.
Yes, R2, you say me. Yes, it can be you. It can be anybody else too. Go ahead.
We're putting you on the spot.
Yep.
We're all inclusive. Anybody.
That's right. Anybody. All right, Matthew, your turn for the music, since you are a music guy.
Music was okay. Nothing really special.
Right.
Although when main characters sang and played, that was really cool. Anytime they picked up an instrument, those were kind of cool scenes. But over the majority of it, it wasn't that great. So I'll give it a 0.
All right. I'm seeing a pattern here for Matthew.
Got to be
right.
consistent at least, right? He's a constant.
I'll be the Simon for today.
Is that right? That's a no for me.
That's a no for me.
And I'm like gonna
Everybody
hit the
else is
golden buzzer.
like yes. Yeah. Simon's like,
right, my
nope.
turn. The music. You know what? I think the music, the score of this movie, not just the singing parts, but also the instrumental parts. I think it fit very well with how the movie was playing out. You know, definitely like the chase scenes. You got that, you know, you
Right.
had that really loud chase type music. But it also had like this weird funky sound to it, so you know it's like a funny chase scene or something, because then you see the plane going wee, 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 and they don't know how to really fly it. He's like, well, Ned, do you know how to fly this plane? He goes, oh yeah, I flew one of these when I was a kid in this movie. And then he's like, oh, but it was my stunt double. And they're like, oh, you know, and then you see him, you know, flying and screaming, all three of them just screaming out their mind. But I think I remember, you know.
Oh my gosh. Could
my
you
stunt
imagine?
double did it, but I think I remember how I did it. Just so random and dumb, you know. That's what I think makes it funny. So I guess, you know, because I did enjoy the music while watching this, and it did fit the parts, I will give the music a point.
Sympathy point.
Yes, sympathy point. All right, so R2 says, fun fact, Steve Martin did all the lasso tricks for that movie. Learned how to do it as a teen working at Disneyland. Oh, nice. R2, you got your computer in front of you searching all this up. That's cheating. Anyways, you know, instead of waiting for the end, I'll put up who he said is his who. Martin Short is Lucky. I mean, Steve Martin is Lucky Day. Yes. Sorry. Chevy Chase was Dusty Bottoms, yes, and Martin Short was Ned Needle.
Ned Neanderthal.
That's right. So, R2, you win again. You're the winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Go make yourself some chicken. Good. He says nope. He didn't use a computer. Oops, wrong. Oh, well. And he watched this movie a ton of times as a kid. Yes, sounds good. I'm glad you did. This is funny. All right, so allegory. Go. Somebody. Matthew, you go first.
We're looking at the man in the middle.
I didn't really see any allegory, just good versus evil kind of thing, but it just felt like a movie that they just put together and just there it is. Again, I never saw it when I was younger, so I don't have that nostalgia to the film at all. So, yeah, I couldn't find anything, and that's tough because I usually look for something, but I was just like, so I definitely, that's another 0.
Gotcha. Okay. Another 0 for Matthew. I told you I saw a pattern.
I think that's rounding up to a nice big 0, isn't it?
No, he got 1.
No.
He got 1.
Oh, did he?
I gave it a 1.
That's right.
That was cinematography. Yep.
Yes,
All right,
all the behind the scenes people.
That's right.
Yes.
Tabitha, your turn. What did you see?
Allegory?
Allegory, yep.
See?
Wherever there is danger, you will find it. No.
Go ahead, say it.
I can't remember all of what it is. When there needs to be liberty, we will be there. I mean, if you really wanted to stretch and look for something allegorical, you could. I mean, good
That's
triumphing over. Yeah, I mean, good triumphing over evil. That's the gist of it. I mean, you could really stretch this because this movie isn't meant to be for moral compass value. It's just meant purely for entertainment. But I mean, like, again, you could stretch and say like the fact that they were just actors looking for a job, just trying to be famous, just trying to use their talents, and they, through somebody else's desperation, saw more in themselves than they could ever dare to dream that they could be.
Wow.
So, I know I'm pretty deep, right? But
you're being very kind to this movie.
I'm just reading what's there. I mean, yeah. Again, like. Total stretch. You could. I mean, that's true. They were just washed up actors that went on a misunderstood adventure, and they ended up saving the day and rescuing the damsels in distress. But this movie was not about morality. It was just like kind of like Matthew said, hey, let's make a movie. Let's make it funny. Let's make it a Western.
Oh, so I thought of, if they redid this movie, I thought of 3 people. And semi-serious, but sprinkled with comedy throughout the film would be Dave Chappelle, Bill Burr, and Kevin Hart. I think that would be awesome to see those 3 as cowboys.
I don't think I can see that. I think this movie would be awesome. I think this movie would be way too funny, like exponentially more funny if it had that cast.
Oh man.
And then Selma Hayek as Carmen, the damsel in distress.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. See,
if you think about it, if they did remake this movie, they would change the whole premise. They would change the whole movie basically because they don't want to offend Spanish. They don't want to offend the Mexicans. So it wouldn't be It wouldn't be Mexican movie.
Okay, hear me out though. What if you had Owen Wilson, Ben Stiller, and Will Ferrell as your 3 amigos?
I could see that. I can see that.
I think those 3 people have a unique sense of humor that it would still be a lot more quirky than this film, but I think they could pull it off, And of course Selma Hayek as Carmen, because it just I don't know, just throw that out there. I thought about Will Ferrell and I'm like, I could see it. He would be Chevy Chase is who he would be.
I can see that.
He could be a Chevy Chase.
That's a good 3.
Ado says The Rock, Kevin Hart, and Jack Black.
Again,
That'd be-
completely different kind of movie, though. That would be great, but it would be
That would be-
completely different kind of movie.
If we weren't going through all the societal stuff that we're going through, and it just all creativity just was, let's just do it. Definitely, I think that would all
that
three
would
would work.
be
You
a
know,
funny movie.
R2 says Ben Stiller, no bueno.
Yeah, he's not my favorite actor or anything, but he can be kind of weird, especially when you see him in Zoolander, and you're like, "Who is this guy? Like,
what
is
if
he
Ben
doing?"
Stiller
That
played
was a fun
what's it called? Not Billy Madison. Happy Gilmore, like that character he played in there, and he was just mean to the grandma.
I've never seen Happy Gilmore.
Oh no. I'm curious
talking
to
about
have him
Adam
do that
Sandler?
character.
Talking about
Are you talking
Sandler?
about Adam Sandler?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I read something. I read Ben Stiller, no bueno, and then I thought of Happy
Adam
Gilmore as
Sandler.
the character in one of these things.
Okay. Adam Sandler's funny. But of course he's a different type of comic. I think all these that we're suggesting, they're all different types of comics.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would even work.
Yeah.
I mean, it might work, it might work, and people might laugh at it if it was redone. But honestly,
but again, then
I
it's
don't
just
think-
a remake,
Yeah, then
and
it's
people
just
are
a remake,
tired
yeah.
of that. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not an
exactly.
original. Like
People are
Three
tired of
Amigos
that.
is a pretty original idea, I think, unless
Yeah.
I'm mistaken, unless there's something else that gave it an idea.
That's another
But I
good
mean,
3.
like-
Artuiki. That's good stuff.
Paul
Paul Rudd, Chris Pratt, Charlie Day. That's pretty good too.
Paul Rudd, I didn't even think about him.
I love
Yes.
Paul Rudd. I love me some Paul Rudd.
He has that kind of humor. He could do. If only
Yes.
I don't know how well he dances, but he could. He could do this.
Yeah, My
He
Little
could-
Buttercup. Come on.
He could. Yes, he could pull that off. All right, throw out Ben Stiller and replace him with Paul Rudd.
Nice. Everybody loves Paul Rudd too.
Nice.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so what did you give it, a 0 for Allegory, Tabitha, or did you want to give it a point? Because you
Or
did
half.
come up with something pretty fantastic there.
I did, didn't I? Like, really pulled that out of the air, didn't I?
Yes, he did.
Because I choose to see the good in everybody, I'm going to give it a half a point.
Half a point? Okay.
Nice.
That's good. That's fine. All right. So me, Allegory. You know what? I did pull some allegories out of this. You have the 3 amigos. You have the 3 brothers. They had to, of course they were already together, but they were together for selfish reasons, and then they had to band together to realize, are they really going to do this together, or are they going to be separate? Are they really in it for the long haul of helping out somebody else? Like our Christian lives, are we going to help each other out, or are we going to just eventually just fall off to the wayside and say, no, I'm not going to cross that line that you drew. I'm not going to cross that line because I don't really want to. I want to stay selfish. I still want to stay as the actor that I've always been, and I don't want to take chances or risk my life, but following Christ, we always have to risk our life. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool to see that the brotherhood bands together and they really do this with each other, and yes, I guess you could say this is like pulling it out of thin air, but this is, that's a part that I saw. Another part was to encourage one another at the end. They're encouraging each other. You have to face this El Guapo. Everybody has an El Guapo.
That's right.
Some El Guapos might be your education, but there's, and the El Guapo that we have is the real El Guapo, and as Christians,
Registering
I guess,
speech.
yeah, right. As Christians, our El Guapo would be, the spiritual realm of the devil and demons, and
Mondays.
we have to fight them. Yeah, we have to Mondays, and we really
Are you
have
having
to
a
fight,
Monday?
I mean, I love Mondays personally, but most people don't. So
Yep. And then he says, what does this town do really well? And so they wanted to encourage each other to, get together and fight this evil, and then they were good at sewing like the wind, Grandma. And she's like,
I love Chevy Chase is so encouraging when they say sewing, and the others are kind of like, and he's just like,
sewing?
That's great.
Yeah. So, and then there's that's that encouragement section where we can do this. We can do this together. And that scene was so hilarious anyways. They're over there, Aleppo. Now they're over there. Now they're over there. Where are they coming from? They didn't know, They were just like, what's going on? We are surrounded by the three amigos.
Yeah.
And at the end was pretty hilarious. When everybody comes out, they kind of look like him. And he goes, that was a good trick. Come here. He shoots him in the foot and he goes, that was a good trick too, huh? And then he laughs and then he dies.
Just gone.
But the journey together, it's like our journey with Christ. You have your ups and your downs. So, I will give the allegory a point.
I'm not mocking you, Dan. It was just
go ahead.
It was such a stretch, like when you brought Jesus into it. It was just like,
well, that's what an allegory is.
I know.
Let's find the parallels, to the Bible.
I know. It was it just kind of came out like I could almost picture the Hallelujah chorus and the light shining behind your head when you said that. And I was
yeah. Yes. So I'll give the allegory a point. This movie would be one of my top favorite movies. Obviously, I have other favorite comedic movies, but this one would probably be up there to the top. That's right.
I'm sorry.
Hey, that's okay, Matthew. Not everybody likes everything,
That's right.
I enjoyed this film, but I cannot say that it's one of my top favorite comedies. Like, I have probably 15 other movies that I'd rather watch than Three Amigos. But if somebody said, hey, let's watch Three Amigos, I'd be like, yeah, sure. Because I thought it was funny. I laughed quite a bit in this film. Just, again, some of the unexpected stuff that I forgot.
Right. Right. What do you say? I like how the German said,
a Twick photography. Yeah, that German accent. That German accent was rough. Oh, it was. Like, I'm always judging the German accents, and it's just like, that was rough. You could hear when he slipped into his American accent.
Right. But that's true. That was funny. He found out about trick photography, and he's like, "I'd never used trick photography. Let's. Does anyone got like some kind of stopwatch or one with a second hand? And he's like, I got a stopwatch. No stopwatch, as the Americans say. We play for keeps.
Yeah, that was.
And that
I know. I was kind of confused. Like, the whole, I guess I can see also where Matthew's coming from with like character development. Like, they just randomly threw a German pilot into Mexico.
Yeah,
like,
and
why?
they and it didn't really fit too well. But and his
he was just there for those certain scenes, and that was it.
Yeah. And this movie was like what it was supposed to take place in 1918, right?
1916? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And the Germans looked like they were from World War II more than World War One. I
didn't even think about that too. Yeah, it was just like when the German came into the bar, I was like, why? Why a German of all people? Like, I don't know.
Right. My friends are waiting for me. Tell them to wait here.
Oh my gosh.
1916. Yes, thank you. R2. Uncle Mike is on the show. Hey, Uncle Mike. Thanks for coming in to watch. Let's see. Dave Whitey says he was a weapons runner for El Guapo.
Yes, right. I mean, you could easily figure that out, but it's not. It's right. Not explained. And again, it's just one of all the. How do I put this? Of all the nationalities you could choose, it was just kind of a strange just to pick like some kind of
German.
European one, you know.
Yeah,
It
German
just-
dad. That's it.
I guess that must have been what it was or something.
Yeah,
It was just kind of like, again, you know, it would have been like if somebody from Prague showed up and it's like, why? It's just kind of random. Like, again, for a Western film, like you watch your John Wayne films and whatever, you're not going to see somebody from like former Czechoslovakia selling guns
That's right.
to the local villages.
Yeah.
It's just,
I think that's probably why they did it that way.
Maybe
know?
that is,
'Cause it was,
maybe.
you know, it's hilarious. to think about.
unexpected, right?
Yep.
And who doesn't love a terrible German accent in a comedy?
That's right. That's right. I know I can't do accents too well, but it's fun to do. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. We gave this movie. Let me count it up. 10 points out of 15.
It's not so
So-
bad.
That's not so bad. Three Amigos, you got 10 points out of 15. So great. Woo! Oh, yes. Whitey says, would you say I had a plethora?
Oh,
That
Like that-
was funny. He
that
goes,
was again unexpected because they kept saying the word over and over again, and he's
yeah,
like, "Do you
a
know
plethora?
what is a
Do you know
plethora?"
what a plethora is?
Right.
I would want to know if somebody told me that I would have a plethora, that I would know what a plethora is.
I
And
think
he's
that
like-
was the most Monty Python-ish moment of this film. Because again, it didn't add to the film. It just was there for no reason. Like
But
these two
if you-
Mexicans are talking about the word plethora.
Yeah. But if you listen very carefully in the beginning of that conversation, he goes, "You have many piñatas." He goes, "Would
Yeah.
you say I have a plethora of piñatas?" And then he
Right. No, I
goes,
caught that.
What? And he's like, a plethora. A plethora. Do you know what a plethora is? Do I have a plethora? And then he turned from having a plethora of piñatas to, do I have a plethora? You know, it's like, so he's straight confusing the guy. He's like, you know, like,
Yeah.
what is a plethora?
Again, just so unexpected. Like just not
Yeah.
something you would just think about putting into your script.
Well, it
Oh,
also
yeah,
shows
for
that he is the leader and he's very
This-
well educated.
Right.
That's like another
Yeah,
idea.
yeah.
So-
And he was like, El Guapo, are you upset with me or are you upset with this? And he's like, and just
Because you're
wanting to
turning
take-
40.
you know, I don't, yeah, because you're turning 40. He's like,
It was- Oh, I have to. I can't skim over this really quickly. I tell you, one of
Yeah, go ahead.
the funny scenes that I thought too was when they were all in the bed, the three amigos, and they were like, "What are you gonna do with all the money that you get?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'm gonna buy a car." And he's like, "Yeah, I want to." And then the next one, Chevy Chase is like, "I want to travel, go to Paris and see all the stuff." And Martin Short's just like, I mean, like we're calling it like deliriously blissful, staring at the ceiling. And like,
Right,
I
right.
want to
And
start
it's
an
got that
orphanage.
music that
not an
yeah.
orphanage. Oh yeah, I want to start a
when they're-
foundation for
Yeah,
homeless
yeah. And
orphans.
then,
And they're like, yeah, no, I was gonna say that.
I
Me
was,
too.
I was thinking that too. Yeah, first, and then I do this other thing.
It's kind of like when Christians, when you ask, what would you do if you won the lottery? And automatically everybody's like, oh, I would tithe first. And that, or they list their stuff and they're like, I would totally tithe first.
Yeah. I'll tithe
kinda
first.
what-
I'd give them
Kind of
money
what that
to teach.
reminds me of. Like,
Yeah.
I would buy a yacht. I'd pay for college. Man, I'd be going and traveling the world.
And
But
you-
I would tithe first.
Yeah. And you know what I thought was hilarious is when they were talking about the big things that they wanted, you would hear like that little casino music in the background, or you'd hear something else in the background, you know. And then when he goes, I want to do an orphanage, like the music changed, you know. The music. So
All
that's why
doe-eyed. Yeah. That was so good. That pause was just the perfect pause. They stare at each
Yeah.
other. Yeah, no, me. I was gonna say, like,
Yeah. That was good. That was
oh
good.
my gosh.
Yes, the singing bush, Whitey. We talked about the singing bush, but that was a funny part on my behalf too. They're asking it and asking it. Are you the singing bush? Are you
While it's singing, of course.
while it's singing, yeah, and they're like, well, I don't know. Is he? No, let me ask. And he's like, no, let me ask. Just the way they're doing it, it just is it's like it makes you laugh.
Invisible man. He's like, well, how was I supposed to see him?
Yeah, how was I supposed to know he's the invisible
He's like,
swordsman?
that's why the instructions say shoot up.
Shoot up. We both shot up.
Oh yeah, I see that they're in the New Hope camper. Infamous when you say that when you're more than famous. That was funny too.
Yes. This guy Awapo is not just famous, he is infamous. Oh my goodness. Yes, that was a good part too. Oh man, there's so many things you can pull out of this and quote these movies, especially in the 80s. There's like one-liners, and it's just funny. It's great. You can pull out these one-liners and talk to your friends, and I have met many of people who did not see this movie, and then when I would talk to them about it, they would watch it and then they would say, how come I didn't know about this movie back then, So I would say this movie is probably not as famous as other movies were back then, but definitely if you haven't watched it, it is a good watch. I know Matthew didn't like it, but watch it for yourself. If you don't like it, let us know. If you do like it, let us know. But thanks for watching, everybody.
Sorry, I'm just reading the comment section.
Oh yeah, go ahead, read it. You can read them out loud if you want.
It says yip yip yip.
Yeah. I think that was Ned Niederlander's part. Yip 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 yip. Nettie. He shoots up.
Oh, thank you for putting that in the comment section because those chants were just so random and so funny. Just read. Okay, well, I'm good. Thank you.
Whitey says he thinks it was released at a bad time. It probably was. Back in, what was it, 86 it was released?
86.
Not sure what was happening at the same time this was released, but it probably was like released at the wrong timing, Whitey also says this movie gets funnier after around midnight.
Oh, that's
around
true.
Midnight.
Oh yeah, everything
it does
gets
when you're
more
really
funny.
tired. Yeah, when you're tired.
Oh yeah.
I saw a question through the comments a while ago. I think it was R2. He said, or somebody asked if it was a Disney movie. I don't think so. It's a Oren.
I think people tend to get that confused with Three Comancheros, or not Three Comancheros. The Three Amigos. Wait, which one was it? Where it was the Disney movie that they were like three parrots or three birds, and they wore sombreros, and I don't remember what adventures they went on, but people tend to get this film and that film confused, even though the fact that it was made with birds. I don't know if the ones with birds were made as a spoof to this film. But I remember somebody having said this years ago.
Really?
Yeah, having that confusion, and it's
Chris the Geek.
period to assume that this is a Disney.
1883 says Three Caballeros. It was the name of the Three Bird movie.
Yeah.
Yep, and Whitey says the same thing. The Three Caballeros.
Oh, this is interesting here.
Huh.
The production went through many cast changes before filming. Since he is a co-screenwriter, Martin had been attached to the project since 1980, and Dan Aykroyd, and John Belushi were originally going to play the Three Amigos.
Oh, no, that would have been great. John Belushi.
At one point, Steven Spielberg was slated to direct. He wanted Martin, Bill Murray, and Robin Williams to portray Lucky, Dusty, and Ned, respectively. Landis has said that Rick Moranis would have been cast as Ned had Short been unavailable. When Aykroyd became unavailable, Chase replaced him. John Candy was set for the role originally intended for Belushi, as he did the movie Armed and Dangerous, but he was too large to ride the horse. It was Candy who recommended Martin Short to Steve Martin as they worked together at CTV. It was the first movie for Short, and he and Martin became close friends and continued to perform together. Candy would prominently be seen later riding a horse in the 91 film Delirious.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's pretty cool.
That's cool info. There you go, guys. There's some info about the movie. But no, it's an Orin picture release.
Yeah.
Orin back then I think was taken over as HBO, right? I think taken over by HBO or something. Anyways, that's what it was. Orin is probably, I don't think, no longer in existence as a film thingy, my bob. You know, those companies, productions, whatever. Yeah.
Studios.
Yes. But yes, there it is. The Three Amigos. This is the end of the show, I think. Thank you guys for watching. We had a fun time talking about this. Thanks for your interactions. Interactions. And here at Inside the Booth, we'll call it interreactions. Like inter-reviews. Anyway.
Right.
Was that
no, I caught that. I got it. Yeah.
Okay. Whitey. Dave Whitey says Matthew didn't like the Three Amigos. No, he really didn't like it too much. But that's okay. But thanks for watching, guys. If you just came on, just remember you can rewatch this in like an hour when the whole thing is done rendering or whatever it's called. Come and, support us. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching us. Thanks for watching the Three Amigos. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. Hit the bell button. Get notified for other content that we have coming.
You're stealing my line there, Dan.
Oh, sorry. And, share this content with everybody else.
That's right.
And you can also follow us here on, obviously, YouTube, Patreon, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook are the main ones. And you can support us at www.insidetheboothtv.com. Get yourself a koozie.
Some restrictions may apply.
Yeah, some restrictions. Yes, these are good for camping and keeping your drinks cold or warm. What else? What else we got? We got other stuff. Look at my shirt. Everybody, you like that, right? I think you do. I don't know if you can see it. We got the plot over on this side. Acting, cinematography, the music, and the allegory. I guess it's so weird to do it on this. I'm thinking this is like mirrored, but it's not. It's
right. No.
No, you get the koozie and you can put your own beer in it, Dave. You can put
wait
your own
until
beer
Inside the Booth flamethrower. Nice. The kids would rage with all the kids.
That's right. Inside the Booth flamethrower.
I would buy that.
That's right.
I would too.
We're waiting,
tough,
Dan.
Man. You got to have one of those.
That's right.
Well,
like the cave people from A History of the World. We may not be able to start a fire, but we will just randomly have fire.
Yeah. Take the fire and they try to get the rock. Try to put the rock on fire.
Try to set a rock on fire. Oh my god.
And then throw it into the twigs. So fun. Man. Yeah, but also, if you guys have any ideas on maybe you can help us make some merch that we can sell, message me. That'd be fun. Tabitha's also got her her YouTube channel, and Etsy store, and what else do you got?
Pretty easy. Twitter, pretty much everything is just Dreaming Tabitha. Very consistent. So find me,
right.
support me, feed the starving artist.
Yes.
I got to
Go
stock up
find
for
her.
winter.
And she's got some cool stuff. She paints, she draws, she
Right.
has some cool things. So go support her, as well as obviously telling people to support us. So
That's right. Support the cause.
that's right. So thanks for watching, everybody. Caveman review. Oh, geez, Dave. Yes, that movie is funny. We probably won't get to it this month, but eventually we'll get to that movie. Ringo Starr, the drummer of
The
that
Beatles.
band, the Beatles, is in that movie, and
That
movie
band,
is...
excuse you. How
Sorry.
disrespectful can you be? Put some respect on that.
Hey! I don't listen to that type of music. Sorry, but you knew who I was talking about, so that's good.
That's what counts, right?
That's right. That's all that counts. But that movie is hilarious. So, and I think Dennis Quaid. It's Dennis Quaid and Ringo Starr, I think, is the main characters of Caveman. But hilarious movie. Go watch that if you haven't. I don't know why I'm telling people to watch that movie. We're talking about the
Go
Three
watch
Amigos, Dave. Whitey,
Tell your
come on.
friends.
Dave says, "Slap yourself, Dan." for not
For not remembering the name.
for not remembering Beatles. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, be ashamed.
Inside the Booth sombrero. Oh, that's a good idea.
I'd buy that.
Oh, and the theme. Oh, my gosh.
honestly, I have a sombrero at my mom's house, and I was gonna get it for tonight.
Of course you did.
But I totally forgot to go over there because, obviously family. So family is more important than getting a sombrero. But
Is it though?
next time if we do, yeah. I was actually thinking of because I also have a white shirt and one of those red bow tie things. I was thinking of putting that on too, but
Opportunity missed.
It was. I should have just woken up earlier in the day at like 5 or 6 instead of 7.
Had such high expectations from you, Dan.
I know.
No more.
What did Dave say? Sloth is the Caveman movie? Okay. I guess I don't understand.
Take your word for it.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, totally. Absolutely. I know what you're talking about. The sloth is, yes, the sloth is the caveman. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I don't understand. Sorry,
Moving
Dave.
on.
Moving on. I guess now would be a time to say goodbye. Thanks everybody for watching. Dave, message me later and you can tell me about the sloth thingy. Timothy Olsen. You're a little late to the game, Timothy, but yes, that part was funny. We raped the horses and we rode off on the women. That's a good way to close this. Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us. And if you're a little late, rewatch this and you'll have fun. Goodbye.